Coming up on this week's episode, false nines and false hope against Fiorentina, an unbelievable midfield option for Ruben Amorim, the big kick-off against the Gunners, there's another round of Cropper's transfer corner, and did Eric Cantona intentionally scuttle United and Adidas's latest campaign? All this and much more on Fergie's Gum, a Manchester United podcast. Hello and welcome to Fergie's Gum. It's myself, Nathan Irvine, and I'm joined by, as always, Mr. Paul Cropper. But he's not coming from Drearybury, and he's just giving you a little clue as to where he is right now. But he's in the sunshine of Spain, and it looks absolutely fantastic behind you, mate. Blue skies and everything. How are you doing?
Well, I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm frazzling in that heat. It's shining off my bonser, innit? But if my hat goes on, you know why. What? Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Love it.
That's fine.
Buenos dias.
You put the first question is good Spanish, good use of high school Spanish there, secondary school. Have you put some suntan lotion on your head? Because that's going to be a concern 100%. For me throughout.
Certainly,
right, okay.
Fat to 50 all the way, mate. Yeah.
Can't have you out at this beginning of crucial season for us. So, we need to make sure that all our players are doing right.
Of shade. As you can see, I found a little bit of shade on Roof Terrace and dodging and weaving that sun like a vampire. But yeah. Good to go. I've got my Shilajit in my coffee, and I'm ready to take on the world. Let's go. Vamos.
What? You've got your what in your coffee?
Shilajit. It's like a black tarry thing from the Himalayan mountains. Apparently it's supposed to be good for you. We'll find out in an hour.
We'll find out in an hour. Or if you collapse, then I'll send help. Right then. Okay. So we've got a lot to get through in this episode, obviously. But I guess the best place to start is with the Fiorentina pre-season game at Old Trafford that happened last Saturday it was. Obviously, there was a chance for United fans to give a fond farewell to David De Gea. I think that was before, during, and after the game. They got like 3 opportunities to basically say goodbye to him. I think he showed why. We'll get onto this in a second, but I think he showed why we got rid of him, because he was a bit dodgy. Great reflexes, that never leaves you. But yeah, there was a few issues there. It was also a chance for the fans at Old Trafford to see Matheus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, and Diego Leon. Mm-hmm. And obviously, for the first time, and we need to pronounce this correctly, mate, including the Mbeumo, Benjamin Šeško. We're going to the disco with Šeško.
Shakshi time.
Yeah, so he was unveiled as well, which I kind of predicted would happen. I had a few conversations with a few of my other mates that support Manchester United, and I said, most likeliest thing that will happen is Šeško will be, and I can't not say it like that now, that Šeško will be unveiled at Old Trafford. And he was. But I guess the first question for you, mate, is, did you actually watch the game?
Not live. I watched it back. I did watch it. I was working Saturdays. Who's organised that? But yeah, so yes, I have watched it back. I have. I think if you're going to talk about it, you kind of have to, don't you? Brilliant for David De Gea, when it, like you say, it showed why we got rid of him. But just to have that for him, because he does deserve it for what he did for United when he was here. Kept us out of the mire a lot, didn't he? So he definitely deserved it. It was like a testimonial on it for him. They were absolutely brilliant. And for him to get
I think that's what they intended to do as well, because the way that he was shuffled out of the club was pretty unceremoniously.
Yeah,
it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah.
So yeah,
like what's being happened to another keeper, Donnarumma. We'll go back to that in a bit. But yeah, with Dave, I think well deserved, brilliant reception. Probably a club legend. What did he get? 3 Player of the Years.
Yeah,
3, maybe even 4. To be fair to him. Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I thought the atmosphere at Old Trafford looked absolutely brilliant. You could tell that the signings coming in, especially the Šeško one, that I think going back 3-4 weeks ago, it wouldn't have been like that, would it? It felt like when the players were walking out and being introduced, it was a bit like when Ronaldo came back, a little bit, that excitement, the atmosphere, it was all there, wasn't it? And it gets you raring for the season. But then you see the game again and you see the glaring holes where we are. But yeah, you know what? It wasn't the worst performance this pre-season. I'll give it that.
What was the worst performance then?
The Leeds game wasn't great, was it? Probably because that's one of the first ones. Worst performance. Do you know what? I think it's
Everton.
been like, yeah. We've had periods of good and then periods of bad in every single game, haven't we? Where we've seen the good and we've seen the bad. I think the good outweighed the bad in this Fiorentina game. I think there was quite a lot of good, to be fair to him. But the glaring holes again. The good, if you want to talk about the good, I'd go with Mbumo. The new guys I thought were brilliant. You could see his quality in the deliveries, his crossing. He stood out an absolute mile from Mbumo. I thought his link up with Ahmad was good. Talk about Ahmad with his defensive frailties. I think that was a big glaring hole there. Stick to the good for now, though. Cunha, he's creative, closing down. I thought Mason Mount had a good game as well, to be fair. He'd be playing as a forward, wasn't he? The false nine, Mason Mount. That's where he was. Sticks a big fork in Hoyland, I think, doesn't it? If you've got Mason Mount starting ahead of you. I thought it was a decent performance. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't. My worry is that if that's your last game before the season, I'd like another 2 or 3 friendlies to get going, to get into that, just to make sure we're raring to go, because I thought we still looked sluggish. In parts, thought Lenny Orrell again looked good. Maguire looked good. Overall, you have to be, I suppose, happy that just want to get the season going now. You know, you watch friendlies and it's not the same as quite watching the season. So I'm excited for the season. I think it showed that we're missing a striker, didn't it? That's what it showed. It did the whole game. Mason Mount, he ran, he closed down, he actually held up the ball quite well, pressed from the front. But you need a forward, don't you? Yeah, and that's what we've got in Šeško now. I feel like it is the major part of that team is to attack. It's attack. And what that does at the back is it exposes your back three every time. It exposes them. That's probably where the frailties I'm talking about are. I think Lenny Orrell, he's very, very good. And if he wasn't half as good as what he is, I think we'd be in absolute trouble, because he is that good. He manages to cover the ground. He can read the game. There was a few times when Ahmad linked up with Mbumo very, very well on that right-hand side, I thought, and he does drift in, and he seems to play as a 10, Ahmad. When he's playing right wing-back, he does go in there. And same as Dorgu. They make similar runs, don't they, inside. But that just leaves you exposed as a defender. That's what we're going to have to get used to at Old Trafford. I think you're going to see plenty of 4-2s, 5-3s. You're going to get silly scorelines like that. But as fans, you want goals, you want attacking football. So maybe I shouldn't whinge too much and just be happy that we're getting on the front foot in games.
I think that's a fair assessment. I think I was trying to consider whether or not Amorim would change it halfway through the season, or, if results weren't going his way. But the 3 at the back, I'm still yet to be convinced by it. Maybe it's just the personnel that we have there, but I'm not convinced that the wing backs work in the way that we need them to. I think at Sporting, Amorim probably had players that he'd coached into playing that position. And I know he's going to have to start doing that with Ahmad right now. But I think Ahmad is one of those examples that is wasted in that position. I feel like he's more productive when he's closer to goal. I've always said this about Ahmad as well. His acceleration speed is very good. And you saw that against Brighton last season when we lost at their place. When he's close to the goal, he can be very dangerous because he has that acceleration where once he's in the box, in the 18-yard box, if you make a move on him then and try to foul him or take him out, you're risking a penalty. But when he's starting further back, like at the halfway line, I don't think he's got that in him. I think he's good at closing down at pace, but I don't think he's good at, like, he'll take one man on, then another, and then he'll get the pass in. So I still think the jury's out on whether Ahmad will fit into that position or not. But on the other side, with Dorgu, he does look promising. You can see what they're trying to do with the left and right wings backs. I just don't think it's the right people in those positions. I don't think there's any kind of real relationship between, not in terms of, like, the chemistry off the pitch. But Ahmad and Lenny Yoro playing together down that right hand side,
No.
I don't know. Luke Shaw and Dorgu seem to have it. I'll give them that.
But
They seem
the
to
two
have
defenders,
it.
Nathan, aren't they?
Of
They
course.
actually are actually defenders and wing backs. Ahmad's, it looks like you're finding a position for him. But I think I said this last week, where he'll probably do that in the home games. And I don't see you doing that in the away game. If we're chasing a game, you can change it there. Probably play Dallo or Mazraoui. I've got it in my notes about Mazraoui. Let's have a chat about him. That's probably what he's going to do. If we're going to go for it, but you've got to expect to be counter-attacked. And if that glaring hole is there for Lenny, he's going to have some work to do, Yoro. I think he's got it in him, but he's going to need help. He's going to need help down that side. And it's not just me. He's talking to other United fans. We can all see it. We can all see that that's an issue, where to get Ahmad in this team. Because I think we all feel like he should be in the team. He's up there for me as one of the best players in the team. He needs to be in it. But where do you put him? But he's not the only one. It's Mason Mount. Where do you put him? Where do you put Bruno? It feels like the whole squad with the players that we've now got in that team, especially with Cunha and Bumo coming into the team, it feels like you've got about 6 number 10s who in that their best position is, but there's only 2 spots you can put them there, and that's what it feels like tactically. But he's always putting square pegs in round holes, and he's forcing them into the team. And I think we can see that right wing back is an issue already. We've seen it in pre-season. I think we saw it at the back end of last year as well. And it's moving forward. I think it's going to be more of an issue. Let's see what the gaffer's got in mind.
Well, I likened it to when I used to play Pro Evo, and my Master League team was like, by the point of like season 2, it was so good that I was just buying up strikers and forcing all of them into the squad. You have Shevchenko, you have Ronaldo, Patrick Mboma, Adriano. You got Roberto Carlos even playing on the wing, because
stick him up top.
You've got this luxury of having these players, but it is, that's a video game. It is square pegs, round holes, and you can get away with it there. But in the actual Premier League and playing football with this Manchester United team, there was glaringly obvious problems with the lineup against Fiorentina and all season, really, all pre-season. Sorry, you mentioned Mason Mount there. He's not a false 9. I don't ever want to see us playing with false 9s in that way. Now that we've got Šeško, it's going to be a bit easier to have a focal point. When he's out of the team, will that be Chido Obi, or will they try to rotate this false 9 again? I don't know. I
didn't like it. The false 9. It was a message again, wasn't it? That it was just a message, wasn't it? Just going back to the defending point is I think probably underline it with this. There's too many last ditch tackles for me. It's too that's what it is. It comes down to Yoro making a last ditch tackle, or Maguire with a last ditch tackle in the game previous. That's not a great way to be defending. You don't want to have to be making last ditch. It should be calm, calculated, position wise. If you're having to make last ditch tackles, you're either out of position, or the formation isn't working, or you've been left in the lurch by one of your teammates. And if that happens throughout the season, we're going to concede goals because our goalkeeper's not great. And it makes your defenders look worse than what they are. Position-wise, no, it's not quite there, is it? So maybe that's what they're working on again. So, yeah.
Maybe. But I think we're probably at a good juncture here, because there's not much else to say about the Fiorentina game, because we're moving on to Arsenal, which will take place on Sunday. Saturday?
Sunday. 4 o'clock. Yep.
Sunday. It is. I always get confused when it comes to the weekend. But we're probably at a good segue now, because there is a final piece to the puzzle which could fix that problem at the back. And we'll talk about that person in the next segment. As I hinted towards at the end of the last segment, there is one player that Manchester United seem to be pursuing with all of their heart right now that could fix this gap between midfield and defence, and that person is Mr. Paul Cropper.
Believer. I'm a believer.
Carlos Baleba from Brighton, who it seems like Manchester United have gone all in on trying to secure his signature. I don't think it'll be done by Sunday, if it is done at all. Brighton are rumoured to be battening down the hatches and they don't want him to leave the club. He's only 22, I think. He's 22, Cameroonian international, exactly the type of profile that we need in that spot because he's fast, he's athletic, his ball retention is fantastic as well. But Brighton are probably going to want north of 120 million for him. And weirdly, Manchester United don't seem to be ruling that out. Big Jim's found another few pennies down the back of the sofa again.
Yeah, he's been digging around, hasn't he? Back of his settee. It's Ornstein said 112 million is what they're talking about behind the scenes. A club record for an African player. Well, an African player record signing at a bit. Brighton signed him to 2023 for 25 million. That was their second highest transfer that they've ever had. I know you're all in as well, aren't you, Nathan? You have been for weeks and weeks saying that this is who you want, this is who you want. I'm to be convinced. I think you know where I am as well. Yeah, I think what brilliant player. Yeah, it's not the player that I'm to be convinced about. I'm to be convinced that he's the player that people think he is. And what we need a ball winner. We need someone who tackles. If you look at his stats, let's get the notes out. Stato.
Well, I've got some stats here as well.
Yeah, let's see if they back up.
In terms of his ball retention, he ranks, I think, 7th in under 23s, and the only people that are above him are like the likes of Pedri. So it's he's in high esteem there. I'll just get to that bit of the
his ball retention, very, very good. But the ball winner, he's 1.67 tackles per game. He's 49th. He's ranked 49th in the Premier League. So people think that he's a ball winning midfielder. He's not actually that type of player. He's the type of player that gets the ball, carries the ball, and he will attack, can shoot, and he is that kind of player. He's not a Ugarte. He's not a. Funnily enough, at the top of those stats is Casemiro and Ugarte for tackles per game. Then you've got Endo, Idrissa Gueye, João Gomez.
But those are last minute tackles like you were talking about before. That one where is Casemiro going to get sent off? Who knows?
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
Does Casemiro go to the ground too easy? Does it? You know what I mean? But do you know who he really reminds me of? He's Moussa Dembele, Believer. That's exactly when you see him. He drifts with the ball, powerful runner. What he is most importantly, why United are looking at him, his legs. He's young, like you say, he's athletic, and his legs in there. People talk about him unlocking. I don't like that saying, to be unlocking Manu or doing that kind of thing. But you think of the partnership they should have together, and it is, it is probably perfect. You've got your ball winning midfielder. You've got the player who wants to come and get on the ball and use the ball, but he will also believe it. He likes to receive the ball, turn and go. And if you're playing against a midfielder like that, he's going to run your ragged dog game, and you can't get close to him. He can pass a ball, he can spray a ball. His passing's very, very good. His shooting's very, very good, actually. Scored a few screamers, but his stats are 34 games, 3 goals, 1 assist, 6 yellow cards. So he does pick up yellow cards as well, but you will do if you're in a centre midfield. You do that. My worry is that for 112, 130 million, it's a lot of money, Nathan. For are you getting a Declan Rice? Are you getting someone at that level? I know you think you are, aren't you? I know that.
As you said before, I'm all in on paying that because you want to raise the athletic floor of the team, and that's the perfect player to do it. His ball retention, his passing, his ball retention, his passing, like all of these things are all because of the size of him and his athleticism. So he is the perfect person that you want in there. Yes, over 100 million is going to be an amazing amount of money to pay for someone, but Brighton aren't mugs. They bring these players in. They know exactly what they're doing. They bring players in and they sell them on. Caicedo being a prime example of that. They know what the value of these players are. 25 million might seem like a big outlay at the beginning when they bring these players in because they're unproven, but they're
They know they're going to at
already
least
looking
double the
at their
money, don't they?
potential. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're already looking at their potential and they already know who they're going to be moving on and when they're going to be moving on. I think the difference with this one, the Alex McAllister one and the Caicedo one, I think the difference this time is that Manchester United have come out of nowhere to request Baleba. And it kind of feels like us as fans have manifested it. Like, for some reason, we've been like banging on about it for weeks. It was either him or Wharton at Crystal
I
Palace.
was going to do on that, yeah.
We've been banging on about it for ages. So then when it came up, and weirdly enough, it was the account that was ridiculed since it first came on the scene, Indy Kalia on Twitter, who's widely regarded as one of the absolute joke shop in the nose that there's ever been. But apparently he broke the story. No idea how he managed to get it or that team managed to get it. But he got it because even Ornstein bowed down to him and went, yeah, it's true.
Well
it's
yeah.
true. It's happening. So fair enough.
Well, you mentioned
just let me go through because I've brought them up now and I obviously, it's useless giving half information. But on the via Skill Corner on the Athletic, the stats for where he ranks Baleba for possession when pressed, and this is for under 23 midfielders across the top 5 European leagues last season. Okay, so it's Pavlovic at the top from Bayern Munich. Then we've got Santos, who is at I think Montpellier. Is that Montpellier's? No, I don't think that is Montpellier's logo. That's terrible of me. It's a French team. Zaire Emery, Peroni, Casado, Pedri, and then Baleba's there. 86.3% ball retention. And then below him, I mean, you've got the likes of Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
So from Spurs as well. So
yeah,
I think his stock is high because he's had a very good season. But I think if Jim Ratcliffe has the magic credit card, which it sounds like he does, then go and pay for him. Go and pay for him. Go and do it.
I think we mentioned there where we mentioned a few of the players, on Caicedo, Declan Rice, Enzo to Chelsea, and that set the precedent there of the price that you have to pay for these midfielders, isn't it? That's same with what happened with Mbumo, when it was players were moving and Brentford were like, no, that's the price that we think he's at, and that's what Brighton will be looking at. If those players have gone for that much, we want that much. And United don't, like you say, United don't seem to be put off by it, do they? You bring in a player like that there. I've written down the other day, what does that do for Bruno? We've already mentioned that we've got 10s, so many 10s in there. You're not leaving Bruno out of the team. So if you bring in Baleba there, you've got to think about, I already think our squad is way too big already.
Right.
I'm not saying don't bring him in. What I'm saying is we need a player there. We obviously need that, but what is the knock-on effect there of how do you get Bruno, Cunha, and Bumo into 2 spots in the number 10? You've got Šeško there, who's gonna be your starting 9. We'll probably talk more about Šeško in a bit, but there's a knock-on effect there of where you put Bruno, isn't there? Because of Baleba, it makes it a bit more congested, the squad in there. And it's interesting. So what would you do with Bruno there? Does Bruno start alongside him? You drop Kobe?
Yeah. I think that's it. Until Mainu's capable of proving himself to be the person that should be in there, which he's a great player, but there's still doubts about where he fits into this Manchester United team. He hasn't actually claimed it for himself, but we spent the summer won't he, or not the entire summer, but will he, won't he go to Saudi? The offer was on the table. We convinced Bruno to stay. So there's obviously a reason for that. And we would have known that Mbumo and that Cunha were coming in. So I think they're looking at it as Bruno will play at the side of Baleba.
Yeah.
And when Brian Mbeumo goes away on the African Cup of Nations, then you might see Bruno stepping into that position, or you might see Mason Mount stepping into that position.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No,
and then
I can see that. Yeah.
You might see it Bruno and Mainu playing together in that midfield pivot, and that's not great. But for 4 weeks, we're probably going to have to do that because if
Ugarte
you do,
as well.
yeah,
Another one.
if you and Agate, oh well, I mean, jury's out on Agate again, mate. I'm still yet to be convinced, but just let's bring it all the way back, right? Do you think Baleba is the final piece of this jigsaw that could get us ticking?
He's not the final piece because the keeper is very important to me, but he would be a massive piece, wouldn't it? If you
Mm.
bring in Belieber and the keeper, it's another thing I've written down. Ruben Amorim then has to produce Champions League.
Yeah,
That's a question.
yeah,
Has to. If he
yeah.
finishes outside the top 7 when he's been backed to the hilt, because that then becomes a 9 or 10 out of 10 transfer window for me. And you have to say he's been thoroughly backed.
Yeah.
Only talking about ins there, not talking about outs, because the outs we'll just leave that to the side for a minute. If he finishes 7th
Well,
with that,
there aren't any outs, so
well, yeah.
it's fine to leave it to one side.
If we finish 6th or 7th with that, I think he's questionably going to lose his job. That's
100%.
where I'm at. Yeah, I think if you do bring in Believer, you spend that amount of money, like I said with the keeper as well, the pressure just gets turned up again. The press will not let you forget that you spent over 100 million on a player. It's like the same that's happened with Arteta. Arteta gets away with it though, don't he? I don't know how the press don't hammer him. If he's a United manager, he's under a silly amount of. I suppose it's because we're at a big club, but but yeah, you bring him in, the pressure is turned up to 10, isn't it? Straight away. But the pressure's always on at United. You've got to deal with it,
Of course,
and that's what we want. That's what we want. The pressure's there. Deal with it. Produce. Go on. Yeah,
exactly.
get him in. Yeah, he does. He does get you excited. I said I'm to be convinced about Belieber, but when I watched these highlights of United at Old Trafford, and fully enough, him and Cobby had a brilliant battle, and he had a good game. To be honest, and it was good to watch the pair of them. I didn't really. I've watched him quite a lot, but when you're watching him, when you think he's coming to your club, you watch him a little bit differently. He is a unit. He is an absolute unit. And I already pre-season when I was watching, I was thought we look like a big side now. We look like quite a big side. A big. Obviously, that's the profile of player. Dorgu, it makes a big difference in that. But he would then add another physicality to the team. Yeah, I'd be very, very excited. You did ask me another alternative, didn't you, to him?
I did.
And you touched on it. You touched on it earlier, and I think most people listening to this would have watched him at the weekend. Adam Wharton would be the alternative. Different type of player into Adam Wharton. He would be the other alternative. Would probably cost you the same, around about the same, maybe 20, 30 million cheaper. I think Palace would probably want 80 million.
I think you'd be getting the United tax plus the England player tax.
Yeah.
So I think you could be looking at 120, mate. I think you could be looking at 120.
Yeah. So long similar amounts. Yeah. Similar amounts, but like you say, a different type of player, ball playing midfielder. I think at the moment we probably need a Belieber more. I love Adam Wharton. I think Adam Wharton's a brilliant player. I would love him to, and I think it's probably the perfect partnership if you had the pair of them. But yeah, at this moment in time where we are as United, I think Belieber's probably the better profile for what we need in there. But hopefully in 12 months' time, you never know, Nathan, do you? Ineos are cooking at the minute, so
Exactly. Yeah. The other one that I had down here was Hillman from Sporting, and the only reason why I had him was because he's obviously worked with Amorim before, so he will know the system straight away. It's not like he'll need to work out exactly what it is that he needs to do, or won't understand his role straight away. So he could hit the ground running, which would be great. The only thing that I fear about him is that, does he have the legs and the strength for the Premier League? Because we looked at Ugarte, and what he did in different leagues, in the Portuguese league, in the French league, and you're like, yep, he can do a job. Look at him, little terrier running all over the pitch. And he's come to the Premier League, and his drop off last season was rough. Oh, he's put his hat on. He's like, it's gone full Dean
Frasley, mate.
Henderson.
Frasley. Yeah,
It's
it's
gone
there.
full
It's just
Dean
there on the
Henderson.
bonds. Hey, go on, Dino, by the way. Go on, Dino.
But
Love
yeah,
that, by the way. Just touch on that.
but
Go on, Dino.
yeah, but Hjulmand would be the alternative, but he would be I would be reluctant to suggest Hjulmand. I would say
Yes.
go all in on Baleba because he's the one. He is the one,
Well,
and I think you put him in there. I know you didn't like the idea of unlocking, but that's exactly what he does. When you're allowing your wing backs to progress, you're unlocking their potential. When you've got a great number 8 or number 10 behind a top striker, you're unlocking their potential. And I feel like that's the same. But it's not just Kobe Mainu that he's unlocking or Bruno Fernandes. It's that defence can be a bit more proactive in pushing out and pushing forward, which is exactly what Ruben Amorim wants from his 3 centre backs. You know, he wants them mobile and he wants them to be moving up the pitch. What he doesn't want is a huge chasm behind the midfield and in front of the defenders. And that's what Baleba will give you in that situation.
Yeah.
Recovery pace is on point as well.
Yep.
Even though you don't want him doing the recovery tackles, he can still do it if need be. So I think Baleba's the one for me. Baleba is the one.
It's funny you say Hjulmand hits the ground running because that's probably his worst attribute is his running. But yeah, when I looked at him, I thought he looked very leggy. But like you say, it's another comparison of the league. We know Baleba in this league, don't we? That's the big, and that's what Ineos have looked at. And the players that they brought in for the majority know the league, have performed very well in the league. So yeah, I do still have my worries about Amorim at the minute. If you look in pre-season, he likes to play a staggered 6 and an 8. That seems to be his preferred position. I feel Baleba is more at the 8 than the 6, and I think we've already got 3 of them instead of a dominant 6. That's the only concern I've got. I'm not saying he can't do that position. I just feel like he is an 8, probably a better 8 than what we've actually got in Mainu. You know, physically, running, dominant wise, but I just feel that I don't. To be honest with you, there's not many of them around. There's probably 3 or 4 in the world you could get. So yeah. That's. I'm just not ready to go. Yeah. But that's me. That's miserable sod. Cropper's transfer corner. There it is.
It sounded like you were shouting it from the terraces this week. I like it.
Well, I am the sun terrace. You know, Viva Espanol and all that lot.
Good. What have we got in Cropper's transfer corner this week? Because I've had a look, and it's the same old story. So apart from Baleba and Šeško's now done, what else?
Yes.
What else have we got? Any incomings?
I'll just touch on them too, if you like, because they're at the top on my list. Šeško was done. Number 30, done deal. That's all I put there. Baleba, like I said before, Ornstein, 112 million. The behind the scenes, it looks like United are very confident of getting that deal done. No problems with the player side. The only problem would be Brighton. That's what the rumours are. I think the majority of people have seen that, read that, but yeah, stick it in there because it would be a massive transfer for Manchester United and for the Premier League and for world football, to be fair. Got there. They're just exploring the options, but Brighton are saying they've got no interest in selling. They're obviously going to say that. They're not going to come out and say, yeah, we want to sell one of our best players. So let's see where that one goes. But in the next week or two, you're going to see movement, aren't you?
One thing I forgot to add in the last section when we was talking about Baleba was the person that you want to sign when we're talking about alternatives is whoever Brighton are about to sign to replace it. That's the player you want to buy. Anyone that they're linked to, go and buy them first, because then you can save about 80 mil.
Yeah, but that's it's a very well run club, isn't it? And they've got a very good record for doing that. And I think that's what Ineos are looking at doing with United. That's the kind of club they want. That's how they want to use that model of bringing it through. But who doesn't want to use that model? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Brighton. You've got got to always give them the props for what they do. But yeah, you are right there. Yeah. But United is a step up from Brighton, so we shouldn't have to do that, should we? We should be able to go and get their best player. We should be able to go and get Brentford's best player. We should be able to go and get Wolves' best player. That's where we are. Like I said,
Yeah.
the people mention a food chain, don't they? The difference is nowadays you don't get them for pennies. You have to, if you want their best player, you have to go and pay the best money. That's just the
Which is
world's
fair.
changed.
Which is fair.
Economically, it's all of course it is. Yeah, if they don't want to sell that, well, we have to make you an offer you can't resist. There you go. It's like the mafia. Isn't it? Next one on the list, I'll move on, and it's another one that most people would have seen. One that I have rubbished. I think we both have recently, but gets me probably more excited than the Baleba transfer is the Donnarumma rumours that won't go away, persist. I've just, before we came on, I've just seen his letter to the Paris Saint-Germain fans. Have you seen it? The way he's been treated seems mental. I can't get my head around it. One of the best goalkeepers in the world. PSG are looking in a different direction. They want him off the wage structure. Chelsea, United, and also last night City were linked, which worries me. As they're talking about their keeper going to Saudi League, and they want Donnarumma as their number one. I don't see that. I don't see him being a Pep Guardiola goalkeeper, but we'll see. Maybe that's just wishful thinking. The rumours are 25 to 30 million transfer they'll want, or he'll leave on a free. He'll sit on the sideline, leave on a free in the summer because he's got a year left on his contract. The sticking point is obviously going to be his wages. I think we all know that. He's commanding, well, he's on €400,000 a week, around that region. There were rumours, and his agent actually, Raiola's come out and said that he actually accepted to drop his wage to stay at PSG. And they've come out and said, no, you're gone. They've dropped him from the squad. Is it tonight? I think it's tonight, isn't it, the Super Cup?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Thursday. Completely dropped from the squad.
Wednesday night, yeah.
So he's been banished, basically, from the PSG. So he's just won everything with them. Every time I see him, I think he's absolutely brilliant on a Donnarumma. And he, for me, would be the final piece in the jigsaw. A goalkeeper, if you put a goalkeeper of his dominance in that United team, in any team, to be fair to him, he gets in any team. I mean, I can't even, maybe Courtois, Real Madrid, even Real Madrid. I'm surprised Real Madrid aren't even looking at him. A man of that quality, goalkeeper, you're going to get 10 years service out of him. You have to be all over it. And United are, to be fair to him, they were linked, 6 weeks ago we first spoke about this?
For me, I can't see Ratcliffe breaking a wage structure that he's just put in place, because all of the signings that they've brought in under Ineos, not one of them is on over 200 grand a week, which is what I think they're trying to keep a cap on. So that's why I don't think Donnarumma will go to Manchester United unless he says that he'll drop it below 190 below 200. What he could do is he could forgo like agent fees and things like that to
make the move happen.
Exactly. So you don't know. There's probably ways of making it work. It's weird that we're talking about Donnarumma in these terms, though, because you touched on it before. It's odd that PSG have said, no, you've won everything apart from Club World Cup. We've won everything with you, but now it's time to get out. That gives me a bit of the fear for why they want rid of him. Could it just be financial constraints? I mean, they're cash rich. He's a bad egg. Luis Enrique is like one of the nicest guys in football, and you're basically saying, I don't like this player and I don't want him at the club. So I don't know. There's a few things there that don't add up to me, but let's see.
Working with Raiola
again
is another one, isn't it? Working with his agent
is
also
his
son,
his son, isn't it? It's Mino's son.
Oh, is it? Right. Right. Okay.
Mino's dead. He passed away, didn't he? Couple of years ago.
My feeling is with the Donnarumma one there, if there's a player of that quality, that standing in football, you do change your wage structure. That's my opinion. Yeah. Whether the Ineos feel the same, I don't know. If you can get a player of that quality for that price, you do it. Especially when we are screaming out for a goalkeeper. Absolutely screaming out for one. And you don't often, like we said, there's not many number sixes out there.
Yeah.
there's not many goalkeepers of that standing, that quality either out there. And he's, like I said, he's probably top 2 or 3 goalkeepers in the world. You do give them what they want, and you've got him for 10 years. But
Yeah, true.
I'm not Ineos,
True.
I'm not Ineos. So yeah, that was obviously second on there. Couple more we've been offered. Upamecano from Bayern Munich seems to be on his way out. They seem to be another one being forced out. We've been offered him buying one around a fee of €30 million for him. Not one that I see coming in there. But looks like Bayern Munich have offered him out. That's another rumour that's on there. Just go back to my notes on the Donnarumma. Just something I wanted to mention there with Chelsea being interested in it. I wouldn't be surprised if Garnacho is used in that transfer. You know, as if you want Garnacho, stay away from Donnarumma kind of thing. You know, just in that in the offer, I can just see something like that being happen. Football clubs do that, where they use one. We'll stay away from that if we can do this. You know, that's just something I got in my notes there on that. But yeah, on the Upamecano one, it's not somewhere that I think we need a player like that, to be honest with you. And Bayern Munich often, we've seen this with players, they don't often let players go when they're at the peak. It's normally when they've got somebody else ready to come in who's better, is when they let players go. Upamecano, we were linked with him 3-4 years ago. Was it Red Bull, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Made the move. I like the player, to be fair, but it's not somewhere where I feel we need. I think we've got quite a good cover centre, especially with Laniero. I think he's top class, like I said.
For that same money, same money.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Mark Gay going to Liverpool for that same cash.
Yes.
Which is one that, again, if you're going to be spending cash and you have the money to do it, you go and get him. Get him tomorrow. 30 mil's like an absolute snip. 30 million pounds for Gay as a replacement or as a starting centre back for Liverpool. They let, was it Jarrell Kwanzaa go for more than that?
That's
slightly
right.
more.
Yeah.
Ridiculous the sum of they're having in terms of ins and outs. Unreal.
Yeah, they're doing it well, aren't they? Yeah. The last one I've got, I know you said there were not many surprises on there, but I came across this one, is a player that you might not have heard of. I hadn't until I saw this room. I thought we'd look him up. Ricardo Matheus, Brazilian. It was reported that United scout Alexandre Torres was in attendance for International's 1-1 draw with Fluminense. The Daily Mail Sport understands he was watching the 19-year-old Mateus, who is under contract till 2020 as a release clause of £56.2 million. United are keen to put themselves at the front of the queue for the player, and he's said to have superstar potential. Never heard of the kid, to be fair, but until I looked him up. If you think that's the Jets above there, sorry about that, near an airbase.
That's right, no problem.
If you think type of player, do you know who he reminds me of? Samu at Porto. You know, the striker, big, powerful striker. Lukaku mould. The player that number 9 up top on his own, runs the channel, powerful, big, powerful kid. Seen a few of his goals. He looks much the same as Chido Obi. That seems to be the profile striker that United are looking at. Something I came across interested me. When we're looking at strikers, obviously you look it up. They're saying he's got superstar potential. Yeah, let's see where that one goes. United aren't going to be paying that. Maybe that's something in a season or two that they're looking at as well.
Yeah, sounds that way,
Yeah, but United scouts are everywhere looking, and when it comes across the South American, they'll have scouts all over South America. United won't they? So yeah, that was another one, another in, just a surprise that I thought I'd throw in there.
You know what?
You can look him up if you want and get in touch. Yeah, well.
Do you know what that has a little whiff of? That has a whiff of his agent trying to drum up interest from Europe.
Yes.
Coming out and just saying like, "Oh, Manchester United scouts have been here." I mean, we just signed Šeško. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not like we're in the market for another striker. So it's like, can I get my client a move to Europe this summer? Oh, who should we link him to? Well, the biggest club in England. There you go.
Well, what I wouldn't be surprised at there, I just mentioned the player Samu, who I really like at Porto, and tore us to bits when he played against us. He's been linked in the move to Newcastle, so don't be surprised if there's a knock-on effect of him, Samu making a move, and then a team like Porto, somewhere like that, looking at Ricardo Mateus, bringing him in for a price, a few seasons, and then them looking at making a profit, with a move to the Premier League or everywhere. So yeah, that's something to look at there. That might be somewhere, some movement in that with that player there. But yeah, look the player, to be fair. That's
The,
it for
the,
all the ins I've got there. Well, so go on.
I was going to say the most surprising thing at this point in the season, and you're probably going to talk about this right now, is the outs. Manchester
Mm-hmm.
United, at the time of recording this podcast, haven't sold a single player. We've let
Yeah.
Rashford go out on loan, and I think there was a couple of other loans. I think Dan Gore's gone out as well, but absolutely nothing in terms of revenue coming in. So I think we're now at the stage where sales are needed to facilitate the other incoming. So Baleba is probably dependent on where some of these players go. So
Yes.
that's the main thing. We're going to have to be selling players. So I'm guessing that's what you're coming up to now. You're going to be telling me
That's,
about
that's
the rumors
exactly
of
where I'm
going
coming to,
out.
Nathan. Good linking on there. The Garnacho one is to Chelsea. Is one where we all know it looks like it's going to be happening. Just wanted to touch on the Garnacho thing and the one that the news that came out where he said he's happy to sit not playing football for 6 to 12 months. Yeah, this kid, I don't know where his ego comes from. Don't know. He's just bad news, and you can see why Ruben Amorim wants him out, can't you? You can see he spoke about Donnarumma. Is he a bad egg? No, this kid is a bad egg, isn't it? I think did you send me the picture of him vaping when he was
Well,
having
he's
a
getting a
tattoo done
tattoo
or
done. Yeah.
something like that, yeah. He's not the type of person you want around. And I think you've heard comments from players. I think Luke Shaw said one, didn't he? Which, yeah. If we can see it and we're not part of the group, I think the rest of them will be able to see it. Do you know what I mean? I think we're all at the end of our tether with him, aren't we? Just want him gone. We want him out there. But I said it to you the other day where if Chelsea are only offering 30 million, let him rot. Let him sit in I know Ineos are desperate for the money for him, aren't they? And it says here United want close to 50 million euros, which is probably a fair price. If you're getting 30 million, it's not, we need the money, don't we? But you can use Garnacho here as an example. You can show that player power isn't there anymore at United. If you did dig your heels and say, no, if you don't give us 50 million, you will just sit there. You will just sit there and not play football for 6 to 12 months. That's an option. I don't think that's an option they'll do. I think they probably will come to some sort of agreement with Chelsea, and it'd be better for all parties if the sooner that's done, the better. Get him out, get him gone.
I think it is. I think it is club to club now. So I think
Yeah.
they are trying to work out everything. I mean, he was never going to not agree terms on salary because he's one of the, he's still on a relatively low wage at Manchester United. So it was obvious that was going to happen. But yeah, he's turning, or he's not turning. He's revealing his true self, which appears to be a spoilt brat.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
kind of blame the people around him that have pumped up his ego this much. He's not. He thinks he's Ronaldo. He was copying Ronaldo's celebration early doors when CR7 was back at the club, but he shouldn't. He's nowhere near that level. He's nowhere near that level. And the funny thing is, two funny things about this is that United will just absorb those wages. It's on him to try and get into that World Cup next year. So if he wants to sit, he won't be playing alongside his hero for the Argentinian national team. He'll be sat watching it on TV like the rest of us. So
Yeah.
he has to put in the effort. Yeah, you can stay at United, but if you stay in, then you're going to have to prove yourself. You're going to have to do a public apology to Ruben Amorim, and then you're going to have to be integrated back into the team. So, and I
I
don't
don't
think he
see that
wants to
happening,
do
Nathan.
that. So,
No,
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 neither do I. Neither do I. But
no.
then, right, fine, rot in the reserves. Fine, do that
Yeah,
then. But
exactly. Yeah,
the other thing is as well. The other thing is is that Chelsea fans, and I sent you that clip last night of there's one of the Chelsea YouTubers. He turns up on quite a lot of things. I think Matisse, I think he's called. He's
yeah. I
basically
think I know what you mean.
he's basically talking to the camera, monologuing essentially, saying what does Garnacho actually do? What is he good at? Why are we buying him? What is the point? And I've looked through, I've searched up on like X and Instagram and things like that. And obviously, it's not a great barometer with social media, but when you look on there and you see the sentiment from other Chelsea fans going, "What are we doing? Why are we in for this guy? Like, what's he? Why are we so desperate to get him?" I don't think they're having him either.
No,
And I think
no.
do you remember a couple of weeks ago when there was a little bit of news about, Chelsea have done their own background checks and they found that he's all right. I think that was more. I think that was more fan pleasing. I think they'd
Right.
identified him as an asset that they can potentially sell on at a profit if it doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to sell it to the fans as, he's fine. It's Man United that've got the problem with him. It's fine. But
Yeah.
I don't think that is the case. Nothing suggests that he's like a nice, misunderstood lad. I mean, he's posting pictures on Instagram of him with his head in his hands sat on a weights bench. Like, what are you doing, lad? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. It's a strange one, and he does seem like a bit of a. Well, I don't want to be
We've given him
too
enough
hypocritical.
airtime. He's gone
Yeah,
anyway.
oh, he's gone. Yeah,
Let's
all right,
get him
okay,
gone.
yeah,
Get him out.
yeah.
Get him
Well,
shifted.
that's the rumor. It's the rumor we've all seen. United want close to 50 million. Chelsea offered 30. Meet in the middle. Get him gone. Get him out there. Another one. I'll go on to Sancho first before we move on. Is because it's a similar situation. I'll read what Roma have inquired about the cost to sign Sancho. They spoke with Man United's intermediary team. Sancho has rejected everything so far, waiting for Juve, who continue to stall. He rejected Besiktas this morning. So, yeah, it's a similar situation where these players, they don't seem to be making the moves happen. You know, they're just rejecting. I think we had a similar thing with Anthony, where he was rejecting the moves as well. The Sancho one, I said weeks and weeks ago, Turkey's probably his best option. He seems to be holding out for the Juve one, who've not actually made an offer. It's just like he seems to be being strung along by the Juve one. But Italian teams do seem interested. Like I said, Roma have inquired about the cost of signing. I think you probably get him for 10 million now. Sancho, I think the club would be happy just to get another one, just to get him out and off the wage bill.
Besiktas fans absolutely flooded his comments on his Instagram page the other night. I think it was last night, actually. 5 million comments telling him come to Besiktas.
Really?
5 million.
Yeah. I said that. That's probably where he's looking at playing. And the Turkish teams do seem to be able to offer good wages, don't they? We've seen that in the past. So yeah, that's where I see him going. But like I said, Roma have made inquiries about him. Just wanted to touch on that one there because it's kind of different to where I'm going to head with the next out, which is Rasmus Højlund. We spoke about him earlier, where it looks like it's probably the end of the road for Rasmus in the United starting lineup. Feel bad for the kid in a bit. It's probably the move came too soon for him, didn't it? Too much too soon. The pressure of the club, his confidence was shot to bits. I've gone on record saying that I would keep hold of him, send him out on loan. That seems to be what United are looking at, but there's a few stumbling blocks there. 6 million loan fee plus 100% of his wages with a 45 million option to buy is the rumour to AC Milan. AC Milan don't seem put off by that. Probably, I think you said last week that he would probably go there and do very, very well. I can't disagree. He's come from that league already. But a 6 million loan fee, 100% wages, that seems to be Ineos playing hardball, does it? Or is they just saying, no, that's what we want. We want to recoup as much money as possible. Yeah.
Well, interestingly, just on the Fergie's Gum WhatsApp group, it's just popped through. Ahmad just sent it now. Obviously, he'd love to be on the podcast, but he's working right now.
Go on, Ahmad.
Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted, AC Milan keep advancing on Rasmus Højlund deal with Man United. Talks ongoing on player side to discuss the project as Højlund is opening doors to AC Milan. €6 million loan fee, €45 million buy option clause, and salary covered. Details revealed last week. Agreement is getting closer. So there we go.
He's almost as good as Cropper's transfer corner, that Romano, isn't he? He's almost as good. What's your thoughts? Would you be happy with that?
Well, I saw that he was also linked to Newcastle as well, which was hilarious. Because they obviously still need a striker. the Isak situation has got really nasty now. How can you go from
Yes,
being club hero to an absolute
burning
scrub?
shirts. Yeah,
Yeah,
people burning
unreal.
shirts and stuff. Never got that. People burning shirts. It's a bit mad, isn't it? But yeah,
It is a bit mad. But
yeah.
I think Højlund going to AC Milan with a loan fee is the best for everyone, because then if he lights it up back in Serie A and we go,
Mm-hmm.
look, he spent 12 months away, he's matured, he's got better, he's looking red hot, then we just say, right, brilliant, back you come.
Bring him back.
And
Yeah, exactly.
you can fight for
Yeah,
that place with Šeško. If
yeah.
if he goes out and he's not great, and we've got the obligation to buy. I know this happened with Rashford and Sancho, where both of them ended up back at Manchester United, even with that clause in place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shot to nothing. You sell him next summer.
Exactly.
It doesn't
Or
really
you
it doesn't really matter.
because he's not done what Rashford and Sancho and Garnacho have done. I mean, there was reports that his team weren't happy with how he was being treated. You're not going to be, are you? But he's not that type of personality. Is he? You bring him back, you let him go out on loan for 12 months. Like you say, it's win-win, isn't it? You can bring him back in and welcome him back into the club and hope he's kicked on and progressed and matured as a forward. Or he's just rebuilt his confidence. I think that's all it is with Rasmus, just his confidence. And like you say, a loan move, perfect. We've said it before. Speaking of another loan move, there are still rumours of Toby Collier moving out on loan, and Hull have made inquiries. Perfect for the kid as well. We've got that many, especially if the rumours are true of Believer coming in. I think we're overwhelmed with centre midfielders there, and I think a loan move would suit him well. I would prefer him to go to when they do these loan moves, I always prefer them to go to another Premier League club, just so they can get experience in the Premier League. That's just my preference. But Hull have made inquiries about him. I'm presuming if Hull have made inquiries, there will also be other clubs that have made inquiries about him on loan. So yeah, hopefully the kid gets a good move, gets a good 12 months under his belt and can mature, because I like what I've seen from Toby Collier. Really do.
Exactly. That's great.
Yeah. And
Any
I
more?
believe
I've got a couple. I've got a couple that I can finish off with. I was going to say Anthony. That stalemate with Real Betis seems to be drawing to a close, where I think United are kind of putting the pressure on Betis and saying, look, if you don't pay up, if you don't want him, then don't have him. But, we're not going to wait forever. I think one of their players got injured recently, didn't they? And it was like, well, we need to bring cover in. Who was it that got injured? I can't even remember who it was, but they need to bring cover in. Maybe they'll go and buy someone else like they keep doing as soon as they get a few pennies in the bank.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is, Anthony was pictured with Cunha. They were having a meal together.
Okay.
Round at one of their houses. So he's still part of the squad and he's still talking to those guys. So I don't think he's an outcast like Sancho is. And if that, it's becoming more and more likely that any of these players that are going to be integrated back into the squad is probably going to be him. And I think that I wouldn't hate that. The other one that I've got is Amas to PSV or Sheffield Wednesday. Two absolute chalk and cheese teams. Sheffield Wednesday, I mean, they can barely afford to pay their players. So I'm a bit weirded out by the fact that he would potentially go there. I know he'd probably have more opportunities to play because they had to strip back the squad. They're in financial difficulties. They're probably going to get penalised on the points.
Yeah.
But, he could end up going there and doing okay because he's guaranteed playing time. So, that it's not a terrible idea. But
or
PSV,
it could be in a relegation battle, can it, Nathan? So you stay. Yeah.
Exactly. But PSV, Eredivisie, I mean, there's another thing that you have to consider with these loans as well. It's whether or not they actually want to leave the UK, whether or not their families want to uproot and go to somewhere else. So probably Sheffield Wednesday's an option for him because he's like, I wouldn't mind doing it because then I can stay around here. And then the last one that I've got, and it's more out of hope and wishing rather than anything else, but I think you've got to keep an eye on the Casemiro deal. I think you've got to keep an eye on him. There's something, if we're cooking in midfield and we're going to bring in Belieber, I think that could spell Casemiro going out and probably to Saudi. I can see him playing for Al Nassr, for example, with Ronaldo.
Right, okay.
And just having a nice...
I think I think we've all agreed that that's probably his next destination, isn't it? And we're all kind of
Yeah.
hoping it would be this year, but there's not a lot of movement in the news there about it. But yeah, I think you said that a couple of times. Like you say, it's probably out of hope, but let's see, could be some movement there. I have got one more in there that are on my notes, which is not a big one, just something that came up, and it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin will do his own transfer negotiations. He's ditched his representatives. He's hoping for a Manchester United deal.
Yes, I
Was
saw
it
that as well.
was it yourself or was it Ahmad who said you weren't against it?
Me,
Right,
me.
yeah,
I think
there's another one that was on my in.
everyone I've spoke to hates it. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it. If
Yeah,
he's coming in
yeah.
and he knows he's not going to play every game because he's going to be behind Sheshko and because Højlund has gone out on loan or sold, that stopgap between, like, you can't just throw Chido Obi in every game, but you can give him minutes, and you've got
Me.
another established striker there if he can stay fit. I think that's a decent deal. And I think that's something that United should be looking at. Him or
Okay.
Jamie Vardy.
Well, oh, big shout. Get him in on the Blue Wickets.
Well, it all kicks off this Sunday, as we discussed previously when I couldn't remember what day it was at the weekend that Manchester United play. But it is the big kickoff, probably the game of the weekend, right? Manchester United versus Arsenal at Old Trafford.
United.
The big one. Gyökeres versus Šeško. Who knew that those two players would be playing for opposite teams at the beginning of this transfer window? Not me. Not I.
Funny how it's worked out, isn't it? Not I. Yeah.
It's exactly. So, first thing I was going to ask you then, I'll cut straight to it, mate. Do you think Manchester United can win this game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At home, yeah, definitely. I definitely think they can win it. I think it's a tough first game, isn't it, at home, but why not play them now? Why not get at them now? I think with the crowd behind us, I do think, I can see a United win. It's not something I don't see. I think with the forwards we've got in the team now, I think we can get at them. I think we will get at them. I think Gyökeres, if he's not had the best pre-season, has he? I think the type of defender that Delit is, I can see him fancying that. That battle, and it being the type of striker that he'd want to play against, physical. Yeah. I think Delit doesn't like the Aguero types that are around him and can turn very quickly, but someone like Gyökeres, I think he'll fancy himself. The interesting one would be how the wing backs happen. Does he start with Ahmad as the right wing back? Because I don't think he will or should. He probably will, the manager. I don't think he should. Maybe start with Ahmad there just because of the type of team that Arsenal are. Big game players we've got now, and Bumo will create things. I think we'll create chances. I can see goals. The interesting one would be, will he start Šeško? Won't it? I don't think he will. Will he throw him straight in? I don't see it. But they're the type of things in big games. You bring him off the bench, it's 0-0, 70th minute. You know what I mean? The Stretford end rises up and you can see him just nodding one in on the back stick, can't you? You can see it. Looking forward to the game. Can't wait to get the season going. Pre-season friendlies are all good and everything, aren't they? But you don't actually get a true viewing of where the team's at. I'm just hoping that we don't get caught on the counter, which is where my worry is at the minute with United. So, looking forward to the game. See how we get on.
Well, I
2-1 United.
I think that's the 2-1 United, a big one. I think it'll be, and at the beginning of the transfer window, when we saw this fixture list, when it was brought up, I was like, well, we're definitely going to lose the opening game. But now we've made some signings. I know we still need to plug that gap between midfield and defence, but I do feel far more confident about it now. I'm not as confident as you. I think it'll be a draw. And I think there'll be incredibly nervy moments when, they'll probably take the lead and we'll come back, probably with that Šeško goal that you talked about at the back post, 75th minute, 89th minute, whatever it is, and he becomes an instant cult hero. But I think we'll struggle with the midfield. I think that's where we're going to become probably unstuck a little bit with Zubimendi and Declan Rice pulling the strings in there. It's a lot of legs. It's a lot of energy. There's, they've got the kind of metronome of passing that we don't currently have. Everything that we do from midfield seems to be very like push and run. So, get it moved forward and then get out there. But I still think we've got enough in us. Like you said, we're going to create chances. And I think that's where we'll be.
Something just came to mind then. Sorry about the Jets again. Is, interestingly enough, Mason Mount, him and Declan Rice are like best mates, aren't they? I was just thinking of how could you stop Declan Rice from controlling the game? Could you put Mason Mount, say, just follow him around? Don't let him get in the game. Get about him, hassle him. Because I was trying to think of somebody else that could do that job, and there's not many in the team, is there? If you did play Mason Mount in and around that area, he has got the energy and the pressing ability to stop Declan Rice controlling the game. Just some of that came to mind. Two best mates going at it. It'd be good to see. Is there any news on, because you're going to go to the starting lineup, any news on Aidan Heaven? Because he took a knock, didn't he, against Fiorentina? I've not seen anything.
Not that I've seen, but he wouldn't be in my predicted starting 11 anyway. I mean, it's less of a prediction and more of what I would want to play. But
yeah,
what's your starting? Didn't he? Yeah, what's your starting 11? What would you be playing on Sunday then?
What would I be playing, or what do I think the manager?
Yeah,
will go with?
what would you be playing?
Okay,
prediction.
I'll have a traffic cone in there.
Well, let's do your predictions on. Yeah, let's do what we think he will play then. Let's do it.
Okay, I think he'll go with the starting 11 that he did against Fiorentina. I don't see the point in doing friendlies where you're experimenting too much. I don't think the manager would either. So I think he'll go with the starting 11 that he did against Fiorentina.
For anyone that didn't watch,
Aidan Heaven, De Ligt, Yoro. It was Bruno, Kobe. Mason Mount was a false 9. Ahmad on the right, Dorgo on the left, and it was Cunha and Mbumo, wasn't it? That's what I think he'll go with. Especially, and then I think
Casemiro.
Casemiro. Sorry, of course it was.
And Maguire.
Yeah, that's what I think. Of course it was Maguire. Yeah, of course it was.
So the lineup, I'll read the lineup to you right now because I've got it in front of me. And I know I put you on the spot there, but it was Bayern Deer in goal, Heaven, Maguire, Yoro, Ahmad, Casemiro, Fernandes, Dorgu, Cunha, and Mbumo, and Mount. That was the starting lineup, and I
think he'll bring De Ligt in for Maguire. I think he'll do that.
Yeah, I think he'll start with Maguire. I think he'll start with Maguire.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think he'll play Dalot at right back instead of Ahmad.
Right.
Luke Shaw at left centre back with Dorgu, I think is the other one as well.
Possibly if Aidan Heavens has, like I said, picked up a knock. I think he went off limping. From what I read.
Shaw's first choice for me. Shaw's first choice for me at left centre back.
First choice would be Martinez. Martinez would be first choice once he's fit. But I can see it. I can see what you're saying there. I've got just going to touch on something there. There's two people we're forgetting about, and we don't really talk about a lot. One of them was probably my favourite player last year, was Mazraoui. I thought he was brilliant last year. I thought surely you can get him in that team, Mazraoui. I know he can.
He hasn't played any pre-season at all.
No, he hasn't done anything. As I say, I've not seen him a lot, and I've not seen Xerxes a lot. If I've put down here, forgotten man Xerxes, because we just don't talk about him, do we? But Mazraoui makes complete sense. Yeah. Hopefully you can get those two into the team. When they're fit. Maybe Xerxes has obviously his backup, but Mazraoui, I definitely think there's a place in there. I've put down here. Do you think Mazraoui could do that number 6, that ball-winning midfielder? Do you not think he could do that job when he's fit? I know we're talking about the Arsenal team, but just something that
I'm not sure. I don't want to. Again, you're talking square pegs, round holes. I think when you think about Mazraoui at the end of last season, he was gassed, absolutely gassed. Like he'd ran himself into the ground. I think he'd played more minutes in club football than he'd ever done before, and you could tell.
Okay.
And
you
could tell, exactly.
Yeah.
Although he isn't actually listed as injured at the moment. So I don't know.
Just
Maybe there's
knackered.
something else that's going on.
It's just knackered. He's like, I need a breather,
Yeah.
Gaffer. But, I'm looking forward to the game on Nathan. So you think a draw then, do you?
I think a draw. I'll be watching it either way because obviously, it's good to see that season opener and see where we are. But I think it's going to be that front three is what we've said. I think it'll be a false nine to start off with Šeško coming on maybe in the second half. But one other thing I wanted to say, because obviously this coincides with the Premier League starting again and Manchester United Fantasy Premier League. We've got a little league going, mini league. I think are you in it yet? Wonky Donkeys,
yes,
have they entered?
Got the Wonky
Right,
Donkeys.
okay.
The Wonky Donkeys are there, yep. Getting involved.
Wonky Donkeys are in. Ahmad's there. I think there's a few other people that have joined as well. I'm in there as well. And the code, if anyone does want to get involved, and we'll put this out on Instagram as well so people can see it, and YouTube, is all lowercase, M for mother, I for igloo, S for sugar, 4, K for kilo, J for John. What is J in phonetical language?
Juliet.
Juliet, there he is. Good lad. I think I got the other ones right. I don't know. But it's MIS4KJ. So if you want to join, there are no prizes, just bragging rights over us every single week.
That's all we want. So I'll let you get involved.
That's all we want. Oh, and before we go to the final bit, who would you put from the Manchester United squad in your fantasy football team?
Ooh,
one player.
One player. I would definitely go big game player. I think he's got assists, goals. Thought it looked brilliant against Fiorentina and Bumo. I think he's I think he's got points, goals, assists all over him.
I'm going to stick with the good old faithful Bruno Fernandes, the FPL legend.
Bruno. He's got a penalty in him, hasn't he? He has got a penalty.
Of course. Right then, that's the end of another podcast. I think there's a couple of tiny little bits of news. Obviously, there was the unveiling of the Manchester United's new black and yellow kit. Best kit in ages, I've put down here. What do you reckon?
Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, it is brilliant. Yep, absolutely fantastic. The black and yellow one is superb. Not the biggest fan of the red one. I think it looks too much like the Liverpool kit, doesn't it? Black and yellow.
Well, I thought Liverpool's. Interestingly, I thought Liverpool's kit from the Community Shield against Crystal Palace looked so much like a Manchester United shirt. I was surprised that Adidas even got away with it.
Yeah,
because it looks like
copy and paste in it.
Yeah, it looked like a third
Garbage.
kit from a few seasons back. But the black and yellow kit. So whenever you think Manchester United fans of a certain age will know who that black and yellow kit reminds you of. There's two players that stand out for me. The first one, well, the second on the list is Mark Hughes. I always think of Mark Hughes playing in that kit.
Yeah.
But the one that stands out that was in that kit through lots of different reasons, but it's Eric Cantona. Eric Cantona is the person that you identify when you look at black and yellow. You're like, right, well, that's Eric Cantona. Now,
exactly.
I have a little theory, a little conspiracy theory for you here, mate, which I did put out on social media the other day. I think that whole Adidas campaign for the black and yellow kit, the fact that it was about kung fu and being a ninja and all of this lot, I think that was originally built around Eric Cantona. And they wanted Eric Cantona to do the whole thing, to front it, to be part of it, because he's been an ambassador, he's done kit stuff for us before. But I think they got so far down the path with that idea that when he eventually turned around and said no, because he doesn't like Ineos, does he? He doesn't like Ratcliffe. He's on record as saying that they're ripping the soul out of the club. I think by the time they got to that stage, it was like, well, who can we put into it then? Who's going to do this? Dimitar Berbatov's got no connection to that black and yellow kit. Absolutely none.
Yeah.
Absolutely none.
It was a strange one, wasn't it? But yeah, like you say,
it's a great advert. It's a great advert. I love it. But
Yeah.
he has got Dimitar Berbatov. I love him, but he has got nothing to do with that black and yellow kit. So I reckon Cantona did him.
Turn them down a bit, maybe. Yeah, no, I like it. I like the theory. Tinfoil hat. Get it on there.
Okay. That's enough conspiracy theories for one podcast. Thanks again for listening, and we'll speak to you again after the Arsenal game.